Welcome to Make Possible Bitesize, a weekly podcast brought to you by Permutive, championing change in publishing, advertising, and beyond. Each episode, we chat to an inspiring guest about their careers, their lives, and how they're making change possible. Let's bite right in.
Everyone, I'm Ali Nur Mohammed, General Manager at Permutive. Welcome to Make Possible Bitesize. Today, we're lucky to be joined by Lauren Ogúndèkó, who is the Head of Response and Board Director at PhD Media. Hello, Lauren, welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Thank you. How are you?
Really good, thank you. Really excited. Yeah, it's great.
Good, me too. So going to be no small talk, and I'm going to jump straight into it with a big question to get this kicked off. So what are you most proud of?
So this was a really hard question for me to answer because I was sort of juggling with, okay, what's the best response? But then I sort of sat down and really thought about things, and I thought, I'm actually just proud of myself and where I've got to. It's not that big of a secret. I think I've said it in a couple of different interview scenarios that my background is actually quite difficult growing up. I looked after myself, put myself through college and university, and to be where I am today, I think that I don't kind of focus on that enough. So I've had to sit down and say, "Gosh, that's brilliant! You know, you've done a really amazing job. You could have been, the complete opposite of where you are today." So that's what I'm really proud of.
You should be. And how do you think that's developed you as a executive, as a leader, as a manager? How do you think that background and what you've done has shaped you as a leader?
I think it's made me more resilient. I think that there've probably been some situations that have been really challenging that under normal circumstances, I probably would have found them really, really difficult to deal with. But I think because of my background and the way I grew up and having so many tough situations to deal with at an early age, it really helped me to push through and to be more resilient. And I think to be kinder as well. Because I've gone through what I've gone through, I have so much empathy for other people. So I put myself in their shoes most times before really coming to a decision on whatever the situation is. So I think those are the things.
I think resilience and kindness is quite the combination. What advice would you give to other people who are kind of making that same journey that you made?
I would give them advice to focus on a big picture. So have a role in mind. Whether it's a C-suite role, just look at it and say, okay, I want to be this person in however many years you give yourself, and keep that as your focus.
Our second question is looking forward and a bit future facing. What are you focusing on today that will move you onwards and upwards at work?
So everybody, I think, has been talking about digital transformation for a long time. And coming from a digital background, studying computing at uni and moving into digital advertising throughout my whole career, I think for me, I'm now at the stage of digital revolution because I've always been digital first. For me, it's a revolution. I think COVID-19 has accelerated the plans that companies had for digital transformation. It was 5 years time we'll do this, 10 years time we'll do that. It's now in a few months we need to have these things in place. And for me, it's around how do we start to talk to clients around having the best setup so that they don't end up in a place where they become defunct.
That's so revolution's a much scarier word than evolution. How have people reacted to that?
So it's really receptive because it feels like we're on the journey with them, and we actually are. We as an agency have to sort of change as well, and it's an exciting time for clients. They don't feel that they're on the back foot as much because we're on that journey with them. So it's, here's the skills that you need to think about, here are the roles that you need to have in place and the capabilities, and we will go on that journey with you.
So that's really interesting that the challenges around COVID that we've all had over the last couple of months, the silver lining there is people seem to be more receptive to change that needs to happen.
Yes, consumer behaviour's changed, consumer habits have changed. It's got digital at the heart, technology at the centre. So you actually, the model's already changed. So you cannot go back to pre-COVID time. You have to think post-COVID, and then what is staying, and how can I change my business so that I am not only surviving, but I am revolutionising.
And you feel
That's the key thing.
And you feel it's working? You feel like people are making the right changes that they need to make to grow when we get out of this period?
I think so. I think they are making the right decisions around the right changes that need to be made, and everybody has to grapple with their infrastructure and their business model so that they can be in the best place to accelerate change. But I think it's happening. I feel really excited about the conversations that I'm having.
It's great to hear. Great to hear. Thank you, Lauren. Okay, so let's jump to the third and final question. And going back to the theme of this podcast of making things possible, what's been your guiding light and your philosophy behind making things possible?
That's a good one. And I would say to treat people the way I want to be treated, and always have kindness as the first approach. My husband said to me, everyone's innocent until proven guilty. And I said, yeah, and you treat everybody with kindness before anything else, because how you treat them will be a direct response to how they treat you. And you never know who could support you or who could pave the way for you in the future. If the first meeting wasn't good, it will affect, the future potential support you may get. So that's always been my guiding principle. And you never know where you're going to be tomorrow. The person that, reports into me today could be my manager tomorrow. So it's so important to treat people with respect.
Yeah. And have you seen the success of doing that?
God, yes.
When that works and when it doesn't?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I've had situations where people have said to me, "Oh, I've heard about you, all good things," and you take a gasp sometimes that, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
But the thing that you heard was good. And then there's been one or two situations where you probably didn't get on with somebody, but after them meeting you, they're like, "Oh my God, it's a completely different view that I have." So I think 9 out of 10 times it's always worked for me.
Okay. No, that's such an important principle to have, because you don't realise how important it is until you've not done it, or someone else has not done it, and you really see the value in it then.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Lauren. This has been super insightful, inspiring. Have you enjoyed it? It's been a fun experience for you?
It's been great. Thank you so much for inviting me on. It was a really good few questions to really think about, and it makes you sort of stop and think, and reevaluate and think, hang on a minute, I've done this and that, and these are the things that are important. So it's brilliant. Thank you.
No, thank you. I'm sure that people listening in will really take a lot from this. As in, there's a lot of things that you do that will inspire others, which is what we're hoping to get across. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So that leaves me with saying thank you to everyone for listening into Make Possible Bitesize. Hope you enjoyed it. We hope you found it as interesting and inspiring as I did. So we'll be back next week with another inspiring guest, talking about what they do to champion change and thinking about exciting ways to make a difference. So thank you all. Goodbye. Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you. Bye.